Hello everyone, welcome back for more Let's Play Shadow of the Templars Director's Cut. Still joining me? Yorkshire Raven.
Bonjour.
So last we left off, we managed to actually gain the trust of the Ice Queen, as the game calls her, and gotten into this little room that apparently she knows very little about.
Oh, so we are not even with Elsa.
Yeah. That also didn't happen for a couple of decades after this game anyway. Maybe about the time the director's cut was made, but not for the original.
Yeah.
So let's see.
Although probably the original version of the ice cream existed long before this.
This wasn't
Well,
the
of
time for me
course,
to lie
yeah.
on the sofa doing my Marie Antoinette impression. Though it is very popular at parties, especially with gay guys. Don't ask me why. This wasn't the time for me to lie on the sofa doing my Marie Antoinette impression. Though it is very popular at parties, especially with gay guys. Don't ask me why.
I am going to click on things twice a lot just because the game does have a penchant for giving you multiple lines of dialogue that you can pull out of interactive items. So not much else to actually look around on this room. We've got a hotspot over here, and a hotspot over here.
I didn't need the lights on. It was light enough already.
And that.
I didn't need the lights
Come on, give me new dialogue.
It was light enough already.
Yeah, well, anyway. We have to explore both of these places.
As expected, the desk was yet another priceless antique. Yawn. The blotter and in tray had clearly been placed with mathematical precision.
Let's move them 3 degrees to the left.
Let's move it 1 inch to the right.
My heart skipped a beat. It was a carved elephant. But not just any carved elephant. It had been made by my father. I knew for certain because in my apartment I had its exact twin, carved into a box he had made. So Carchon had known my father. They really must have been friends. I decided to take the carved elephant. It clearly meant nothing to Imelda.
You sure of this, are you?
You don't look on the bottom of it, made in Taiwan.
I didn't need a sheet of blotting paper. Not while it was blank. I didn't want to take the tray, but I knew that I could use it. I didn't need
anything new?
I didn't want to
Okay. So it is nice we get a memory of our father.
Together, in love. As the poet said, the past is a different country. Or did I read that in a fortune cookie?
I'm willing to bet on the latter.
The painting was attached firmly to the
numbers
wall.
at 57, 96, 1.
The painting was attached. There was the very faintest of clicks.
Are you actually going to do the thing? Nope, make me do it. Okay.
Behind the picture was a safe.
Well, we can't even actually mess with the dial here to try to open it. It doesn't even give us that option.
The safe was locked. I needed the key.
But the key we grabbed from the table in the other room, that is a different story. Funky looking key. That not actually trigger? Being picky, I see.
Really?
In the safe was some kind of artifact. There were strange symbols on its surface. It looked like the printer's blocks I'd made at art school. If there was one thing I'd learned about symbols, they are always important. But these symbols scratched into stone were impossible to read. I needed to find a way of printing them. At least the stone was round. But what could I use for ink? And what could I print on? Sure, I was stealing, but I knew Imelda didn't know about the artifact, and Carchon was past caring.
Yeah, totally mobile.
So, there are actually 2 ways to solve this puzzle. It kind of made this novel among point-and-click adventure games, which generally gave you a way to solve a puzzle, and unless you figured it out, you were stuck. But this one actually gives you 2 for this specific puzzle. What we need to do is get the paint onto that stone cylinder. And you might think that, yeah, you could just grab the paint and try to
Putting the paint
apply it
straight
directly on the cylinder, but
would be too messy. The paint would go everywhere.
you need some way to make that kind of different. You need to make it kind of more even. And if you've ever worked around printing equipment, you know kind of how they do that. They kind of spread the paint over something and then roll the typeset or whatever they need to cover over that ink that's already been spread out, and then move the typesetter over the paper they want to print on. I know that didn't make a lot of sense because I just explained it really poorly. But we're going to do that. We could do that in one of 2 ways. We do have a lace cloth here. We could put the paint on the lace cloth and use the lace cloth to cover the roller in paint. But instead of ruining a perfectly good lace cloth here, we can put the paint in a tray, which is more typical.
I'd spread blue paint over the bottom of the tray. It was ruined. I was a very bad girl, but also quite a clever one.
So yeah, we could ruin the cloth, but let's go ahead and ruin the tray here because we're not taking the tray with us. Also, this is going to get all kinds of paint on our hands doing it either way.
I rolled the artifact in the paint until it was completely coated.
And then shoved it back in our pocket to ruin the whole process.
Yeah.
Looks like we still have some paint left, though. So now that we've got this key code cylinder here, and we've got blotter paper.
Genius! The roller and the paint worked just as I planned. But what did it say? It was some kind of coded message. It read, "Sub judice." I may not have learned a lot as a journalist, but that was a term I knew well. It means a legal case that is before the courts. Below it was a sequence of letters that made no sense. I suddenly realized there was a connection between the boat ticket and the coded message. The boat ticket was stamped Bateau de la Conciergerie. The Conciergerie on the Ile de la Cite, by the river, housed the ancient law courts. So, sub judice could in this case mean literally under the law courts, below the Conciergerie. I was pretty sure I'd found all I could here. And besides, all this opulence was making me pine for my regular life of poverty. This was a huge story. It was also one heck of a puzzle with a lot of pieces missing. But I was going to crack it. And if I could just remember the name of that fancy prize you get for being an ace journalist, I was definitely going to win it this time.
I mean, there are a couple of them you get for being an ace journalist.
He's also jumping to a lot of assumptions here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, imagination may be running away with her. Just a little bit. But we are pretty much done in this first section. All we got to do is talk to you again.
Did you find anything useful?
This carving, do you know anything about it?
It was Pierre's. What does the statue have to do with...
Please, I need to know.
He was given it by a friend, something to do with Africa.
He never explained any more.
No, but I think it was important to him, always on display. Why?
It was carved by my father.
Oh, I see. I didn't know.
Imelda, I will do everything I can to find the killer.
Thank you, my dear.
And if the police ask,
Don't worry. You were never here.
sub judice was the key. I was going to have to find a way under the conciergerie. I decided to head straight for the quayside on the Ile de la Cité. If there was a way of getting under the conciergerie, it would have to be from there.
But the thing is, she could give a very credible alibi.
Carchon wasn't the type for
Because
messing
she
about
was
on the
him when
river.
he was shot.
He was up to something down here.
Oh, yeah.
She was
Something that got him killed.
But not being there at all is an even better alibi.
Yeah.
The fence wouldn't move.
Aw. I mean, what did we expect, really, by clicking on a fence?
It was the old boathouse for the conciergerie. If I was right about the meaning of sub judice, then the answer had to lie somewhere here on the quayside. This fence wouldn't move either. It was the old boat.
There appears to be a little something on the left one. Just above the big stone on the right.
Yeah, there does appear to be like
The
a
fence
darkened
wouldn't
brick,
move.
doesn't there?
Yeah.
It's not highlighting much. I mean, I'm getting a highlight here for the lamp.
It was the old boathouse for the conciergerie.
I mean, I might be delaying because I know what's coming up. You know what's coming up, too.
I am looking at the walkthrough, and
Yeah.
I'm not explaining. I am not explaining this. All I'm going to say is,
I tried pushing the fence, but it wouldn't move.
that's
A
29
strange
moves.
pair of locks stopped the latches from releasing the gate.
So, just a warning for all of you who hate bad puzzle mechanics. We've got a pair of slider puzzles here. Not one slider puzzle, but two.
Ooh. One of them has 29 moves, and the other one is 27.
Yeah, they're not exactly. They're not exactly. And the goal here is to get this one with the little knob on it over to the other side. So if you work backward, I mean, generally to solve these, you kind of have to sort of work backwards, but you can also kind of see how this one is connected to the rod that actually goes out. So yeah, that would tell you that you've got to move that one. But the main trick is to figure out how to get this block right here. And Raven, I don't know if you can see my cursor. I hope you can. Okay. This block has to go all the way down to the bottom. Because if you move it all the way to the top, it's still too long to let this one go through. So that is that's your main goal, is to figure out how to get this block all the way to the bottom. Because almost nothing else is going to block your path for the main goal here. Everything else that moves vertically is not going to block you. So see, you could try moving this, but you got to get this out of the way. And so to get this out of the way, you've got to get this up. And to get this up, you've got to get this out of the way. So here you see where all the fun happens.
Yes, the fun.
Yes. So let's see.
Turn out those screaming.
There actually aren't that many moves you can start with here. But getting that out of the way is a good idea. But we need to go further. We need to get these out of the way so this one can fully move out of the way. Thank God. And we get that out of the way so we can actually move this all the way to the back. And move that over here. And solved.
One down, one to go.
And yes, we have a second one.
Yay!
And once again, we've got to get this all the way over, which means... Yeah, we did that already. Basically, here's your main key right here. This is your main block. And this is your... If you move this all the way up, it's still not going to be short enough to clear, so moving this is one of your main stoppages. And then you see the main problem with moving this one is that these two are in the way, and these two are blocked by something that can almost not move at all. So if you work your way backward, that's the fun part, working your way backward through some of these. Get you out of the way. Yeah, you down, you up. You get to go all the way over. And so,
Nothing like a good convent education for honing your lockpicking skills.
I don't think this is going to help in most lockpicking scenarios you're going to run across.
No, and did this gate just fall off?
It did just kind of fall down once we moved the two bolts. Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, how else was it actually going to move? It didn't have any hinges on the left or right. All it had were those bolts holding it up, so yeah, I mean, once you remove those bolts, you kind of just remove the only thing holding the gate up.
So it's a one-shot gate.
Basically.
The cross looked familiar. I'd seen it before. It was embroidered on the lace cloth I'd picked up at Carchon's apartment. I knew I was on the right track.
The lace cloth that we did not ruin.
For a room full of junk, that was one very sophisticated lock system. This place was definitely fishy. In more ways than one.
Nico is not above puns.
I really didn't want to pull the fence back up and
Nico
risk
was
trapping
screaming.
myself in this place. I really didn't want to pull the
Okay.
Oops.
Can we pull it back up?
Moving a skiff would only damage it more.
I don't think damaging this piece of junk is going to matter much. I'm just saying.
An old shell case. I wondered what that was doing there.
When they say shell, they mean gun.
Yeah, them there bullet casing.
Let me actually look at the... Nope, we can't actually look.
The brass case
There we
was
go,
smooth
finally.
and perfectly round.
I haven't actually been looking at the things I've
It
been
was
picking
one of
up.
my hair clips.
My favorite, in fact. It was a boat ticket stamped Bateau de la Conciergerie. When I was a little girl, Papa used to take me on the Bateau Mouche as a treat. The cloth was embroidered with an unusual symbol. A safe key. The artifact was like an old printer's block, covered in symbols. It was the drawing room key. It was the beautiful elephant my father had carved.
Kinda wonder why she didn't drop that back off at her apartment, but you know.
Yeah.
Rolling out the painted cylinder had given me a print of a secret message. It read, Sub Judice. Below it was a sequence of letters, S, D, S, S, D, S, S.
But no W's and no A's. Huh. And if you didn't understand what I just said, you don't play computer games, do you?
I really didn't want to pull the fence back up and risk trapping myself in this place. No handle, nothing obvious. But there had to be a way to open it.
There's something up here. No, there was not.
The words Sinister and Dexter were carved on either side. Now any good convent girl like me knows the old Roman for left, right, left, right. But what did it mean here?
I wonder.
Nothing happened. Nothing happened.
Oh, nothing happened whatsoever. Well, we found ourselves yet another puzzle. But I think, before we solve this puzzle, it's a good time to take a break. Next time, we'll deal with what this is.
Are you cliffhangering on puzzles now, sir?
When the time comes, yes.
Fair.
I could have cliffhangered on the slider puzzles, but we hadn't gone long enough in the video.
True.
But anyway, we will deal with this puzzle next time, as I'm sure just about any puzzle veteran knows exactly what we have to do now. But until then, take care, everyone.
Maybe.